Hello, welcome back. Excuse the background noise, it's normal now, and it's quieter than my angle grinder. In this episode, I'm going to be messing around with a new project. It's a left-hand drive conversion of a 1991 two-door Range Rover. It's arriving tomorrow, but today, the bits have arrived. If you like this kind of stuff, if you don't, and you find you can't turn it off for some reason, compulsive viewing, I know. If you want to contact me, Church House Classics, it is all one word, @gmail.com. If you want to buy me a pint, support the channel, or buy merch, bottle openers that also double up as handy key organisers. Then please use the description thing down here, PayPal me link along the bottom of the screen. Enjoy the video. So these are all the bits that I've bought from Tim Hammond. I'll put a link to his eBay account on here, but I buy an awful lot of second-hand parts from Tim. Very, 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 very thorough, very useful. Never really any problems with any of the stuff he sends me over, so I need to do a bit of a stock check on this. I also managed to swipe a set of doors that are in better shapes than the doors on L95. So these will be put into storage as part of a renewal, a rejuvenation of L95. Now, the doors and all of the parts have come from a 1991 VM engine Range Rover. So I'm rather hoping that the loom and everything, all right-hand drive, rather hoping that absolutely everything here is going to be spot on. Excuse the truck reversing. Honestly, we're going to have like a some sort of amnesty on trucks going me. Anyway, so these are all the bits. I'll do a quick catalogue on all of this stuff and just make sure I've got everything I need. Bye-bye, Mr. Skip. Does make a lot of noise, that, doesn't it? I might have to voice this over. You never know. Oh look, window regulators up at the top there. I expect because the channel's fallen off. Anyway, all these are going to get stripped down, but I'll leave them as they are for now. I'll do a quick detail on where doors, how doors strip down and so forth. But, yeah, I'm quite pleased with those. Now, this stuff here. So the passenger seat I've got. Sorry, yes, this is the passenger seat I've got. It's because the driver's seat on the project as it comes in has got quite a rare colour of trim. Now this is, oddly enough, exactly the same colour trim as Project Southpaw had. So the idea behind this is the seat base is damaged on the car that's coming in tomorrow, on this project car. And I figured that if I get a complete passenger seat, then it could well be that I can retrieve parts of this in order to make up a good seat for the customer. And then what's left over, I shall make a reasonable donation back to the customer and have an office chair. How about that? It's a comfy one too, armrest and everything. Right, and in here we've got all the usual candidates. We've got, oh, he's actually put the panhard rod on it, but believe it or not, the panhard rod chassis mounting is different left-hand drive to right-hand drive, and that is only because there is a slight curve on them. Yeah, left-hand drive, right-hand drive different. I don't think Land Rover thought that one out properly, did they? Right, starting from the left, we have got right-hand drive steering bracket. It's got the steering column attached to it still, thank you, Tim. Enough bits there to get it all back together again. A complete loom. From the front lights to the back lights, everything is included on this one. I need to lay it out properly and just double check there's no broken wires, etc. before it goes into the car. But obviously the dashboard and engine bay loom the dashboard loom is different left-hand drive to right-hand drive. The fuse box will be on the wrong side, the switches will be on the wrong side, but most importantly, all of the relays and stuff will be on the wrong side, and the connectors for the speedo pod, the instrument pod. So a complete 1991 Range Rover loom. Cushy. Then there's a few relays and bits and bobs that have fallen off. This is the blanking plate that will go where the left-hand drive pedal box goes. This is different from the left-hand drive version. The bolt holes are different. You can see these 2 bolt holes down here are closer than those 2 bolt holes over there. So you cannot use the left-hand drive one and put all eight bolts in it. I'm sure you could fashion up a piece of steel, but still, if I get hold of the part, and these are getting quite scarce now according to Mr. Hammond. So yeah, a pair of used old stock right-hand drive wiper arms. Wiper arms are different from right-hand drive to left-hand drive cars. It's down to the bank on the end there. We've got a complete centre console unit here. Now this is only because the car comes with some sort of weird Chippendale affair. You'll see when I show you, when I introduce you to the car. So I've got the very best that was on offer centre console unit. It's not great. People do not understand that when you're taking one of these things off, there's a little circlip on the back of the handbrake lever that means that you disconnect the handbrake lever and you can put the lever straight up, and you don't have to massacre the plastic housing and so forth in order to get the handbrake out. I don't understand it. Anyway, nor does Tim. We've got, because I don't know whether it existed or not, we've got the left-hand drive gear stick surround, so I don't know if it exists on the car. Okay, there's a few screw holes and bits and bobs in it. There's a little bung needs to go in there, but it's better than what's on the car at the moment. We've got the right-hand drive wiper rack, because believe it or not, the wipers come through a different location. We've got a right-hand drive dash. Now, the only reason I went for the complete right-hand drive dash is because it can make life a lot easier putting the whole middle dash section straight into the car. But this piece here is unique to right-hand drive, left-hand drive cars. That piece on the end is, and the fuck handle is unique. But the rest of it is ambidextrous. So it might just make life a little bit easier just to put the whole dash straight in. The panel that goes underneath the driver's side of the dash is unique to right-hand drive cars. The centre console unit is unique to right-hand drive cars. That's the hole where the 6 switches go through. That's the hole where the, in fact that could be a cock-up. Have we got those? I've got some down in Devon. It might be on here somewhere. It's not a problem if we haven't. It's basically the switch panel with the 6 switches is unique left and right hand drive cars. I don't think it can be turned upside down. Well, good lesson for me. Can it be turned upside down and put back in again? I don't know. The fuse box certainly cannot. The fuse box is very much there and needs to go into that orifice there. Heater and everything is all ambidextrous. The glove box, which goes on the passenger side, is unique to left hand, right hand drive cars. Speedo pod. The only reason I've gone for this, MPH rather than KMPH. Okay, this was quite low mileage as well, at 75,000 miles. So I will document the mileage change of the kilometres per hour speedo head to the miles per hour speedo head. So that's all of the interior parts that need to be changed over. The handbrake just moves across from one side of the transmission tunnel to the other, so that's not too much of a problem. The other part on the interior, of course, is the pedal box, which is different, left-hand drive to right-hand drive. There he is, complete pedal box with servo, thank you. In here, we've got a right-hand drive, used right-hand drive steering box. We'll see if it's any good. It's okay. If it's not any good, then I'll use it as a deposit on a new unit. And in here, I should have a pair of swivels, front swivels, the whole damn thing, hubs and everything. So they need to be stripped down clean, because the swivels are different as well. So that's it. That's the second-hand bits you need to convert a left-hand drive Range Rover to a right-hand drive Range Rover. And like I say, a new comfy seat for the workshop. Oh, sorry, yes, we did mention that as well, didn't we? So we mentioned the panhard rod bracket. There is also a steady bar on the steering box, and that's unique to left-hand drive. So that bit there that bolts onto the bottom of the steering box is actually a steady bar for the panhard rod. It braces against that through that hole. So that's unique left-hand drive to right-hand drive. Right. That's a goodly load of stuff, isn't it? Project is in the workshop. So it arrived this morning. We're about midday or so. Thought I'd introduce you to the new motor. Well, it's not mine. It's a new project coming from a customer. So it's actually, I am really impressed with this car. I went to go and see it at the owner's home. And aside from a little bit of lacquer lift and so forth, this, and its horrible side steps, this is actually a really clean and together Range Rover. It's come from Portugal. It's a 1991 car, I believe, but everything on it is doors open, door almost closes, door closes. Bit of a beaut, actually. It's lived in is the best way I can kind of, we'll come back to that. Let's start at the business end. So it's got, I believe it's got an R380 gearbox. It might be the last of the LT77s, but it's got the chain-driven transfer box. It's got a VM, 2.5 litre VM in it, which will be in the original fitment. 2 batteries, because it's got, it's all very tidy and everything under here. Clean and tidy. I'll get the torch out actually. The reason being is, let's do that. The brake lines on this thing. Have I got my torch here? No, I bloody haven't. 1 minute. That'll work. Look at the brake lines on this thing. Factory green. Everything in it is absolutely spotless. There are some rusty issues. It's an old Range Rover. What are you expecting? Let's turn the flash off now because it's struggling to keep up with me. So rust issues just on the leading edge of each of the footwells. Nothing particularly serious. The rest of it actually looks really clean underneath. The objective here really though for me is to get this thing right hand drive. That's the prime objective. All the brake lights up here. Marvellous stuff. So that's the business end. I know it's got the chain driven transfer box because it hasn't got the shift over diff lock. It's got the automatic centre diff. Okay, 5-speed, reverses up and towards me on the left hand side. So it's up and left, or left and up, let's say. Dash, all looking in good order. Mileage, it's in there somewhere. I'll put it in the barn because it's so blooming noisy outside. There we are, mileage, I can do that now. It says 309,527. Doesn't strike me it's done that sort of mileage. We'll see. Steering has a little bit of play, just a little bit, but that's not a problem because we're going to replace that nasty old left-hand drive steering box with a right-hand drive steering box. All its original carpets in there. I'm not even going to talk about the piece of Chesterfield in the middle here. Original rear seat, all the trim on the inside is nice, the headlining hasn't dropped. It's just interesting, it's only got one light at the front. That's interesting. I would have expected that to have 2 lights. Never mind. It's got the later style doors, obviously, because it's a later car. They don't have the grab handles and the twin door openers like the early cars do. So it's got very much, these are familiar to me. Electric windows, of course, so no keep fit handle. I'm not really going to worry too much about the interior other than perhaps airing it out. Little scuff there. It used to be blue at some point. Or was that blue paint come off something else? Might have come off something else. Because I believe the car original colour is Cairngorm Brown. There we are. That's the code for that. And the chassis is a HA for all you aficionados out there. This thing takes its sweet time to focus, doesn't it? Let's turn the flash off again. Maybe it'll focus a bit quicker. Obviously headlamps and things like that will need to be changed over here. We'll need side repeaters for the MOT. Side steps are coming off. Wheels and tyres look okay. I'll give them a going over as and when I do this. The side steps are coming off. I'm not going to worry about doors or any of the exterior body panels at all. Everything opens, everything closes. No wear on any of the hinges. It's literally just going to be getting hold of that and dragging it over here. And that's what this huge pile of stuff over here is for. These are the used parts I need. There's going to be some new parts as well. Now this Chesterfield, okay, we're going to have to go near it. We're going to have to address the Chesterfield situation. Okay, that's interesting. Someone's actually just glued big slabs of wood on there. It's an interesting addition. It really is. I don't think I have ever seen anything quite like it. Look. Interesting. Yes. Less said about that the better. In here, oh good, we've got the 6-button console. Heater controls, they're the same left and right. The fuse box obviously moves across to the other side. There's no radio. This slab of wood up here has been crudely glued on the top. In fact, no, it's not even been crudely glued on the top. It's actually an original slab by the looks of things, but it's crudely been glued in place. Never mind. As far as the back end is concerned, tailgate opens. All quite clean and tidy. Dry. Oh look, there's a pair of pliers there. Tom is the owner of the car, perhaps they're Tom's. Because it's a late 2-door, then it'll have the internal handle on the tailgates. Nice original kind of tailgate pattern thing going on here. What's this over here? Oh, there's a jack in there, a vis vest and so forth. So let's lift this up here. There we go. I think the floor in my car in L95 is exactly the same colour as this, just a bit rustier. So that's the boot area. I'll disconnect the batteries. Sliding side windows, again later catches, as you would predict. A little bit gritty, give it a bit of lube there to open them up. In fact, I will open up the windows and let the thing air through. I changed the oil on Charles's Stag this morning, I rebuilt. Just open everything up and then we can have a damn good breathe through. Disconnect the battery. So, yeah, this is where we are with this car. So the panel caps are nice. So steps off. Tow bar needs to come off as well. The owner's not interested in having the tow bar on it. We've got the remains of the mud guards in there. Probably recommend that we put new mud guards on it. It's got the mirrors. I'll check the function of those before we go absolutely berserk. So I just want to see what works, what doesn't. There's a lacquer peel on the roof, but the rest of the lacquer, apart from the deck, is in really good order. Now, when it comes to the deck, I got a problem because this car has concealed hinges, exposed hinges, because all 2 doors have exposed hinges, regardless. Later 2 doors, like this one, had concealed hinges from the bonnet. So the bonnet hinges go up or underneath the deck panel and on a nice giant spring. Now this is actually quite a clean, dent-free panel. So what I'm proposing is that when we put the left-hand drive, so put the right-hand drive wiper box in there, I'm going to have to cut another couple of holes through for the wipers, because obviously the wipers are on the wrong side at the moment. It needs to be sweeping towards the driver. And then if that's the case, then just put grommets in the original holes. And I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to do this tidily. Oh, windscreen come from Finland. Oh, that's me up there as well, look. Bad hair again. Triple X. Just doing my usual anorak thing. Triple X. Windscreen's been changed. It's grubby. Bit of heat damage around the vinyl on these things. They do that, I'm afraid. They seem to get very, very hot in the sun and then the vinyl shrinks. Southpaw had exactly the same. This one again, just a couple of shrink marks on there, but overall, really clean. When was the last time you saw a tailgate this nice? So while the tailgate has got a scuff on the outside, focus, I'm going to go and get the other camera. While it's got a scuff on the outside, I think that's recoverable. And I think that this is a very, very, very nice car. Straight and clean. busy couple of hours, isn't it? So all the dash is out. We found a handful of shrapnel. What have we got here? 20 cents, modern euro, 10 cents, and another 10. So that's 40 cents. Nearly got a euro out of that. Yes, it's all out. So the dash is all out. So tomorrow I'm going to get the heater unit out. I need to drain the coolant down first of all. I've got all the keys sorted out now because I've realised what it is I've got. So I've got one key for each of the doors, because the passenger door and the driver's door are different locks. And then I've got 2 keys for the ignition, which is the 3rd lock altogether. And then I've got no key at all for the tailgate. Nothing, nout, zilch. So we need to get that sorted out. That shouldn't be too much of a problem though. Just these 2 screws here, and the handle comes off. It's got the old central locking pivot on it, so it's going to be an original steel tailgate. But yes, it's got the original pivot on it, but no central locking actuator. I could do with a lick of paint on here, couldn't I? Dash came out nicely. Could end up reusing that actually. It's in pretty good order. No nasty holes or anything in it. All I've got to do is take the fuck handle off that side and take the fuck handle off the other dash and put it on this side. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yes, I think that's it for now. Handbrake needs to move across, but that's fairly straightforward on these, because all you really need to do is to undo the 2 bolts, disconnect the cable, which is there. There's a pivot pin and a clip. Push that bung out, move the cable across, move the handbrake across. Right hand drive handbrake conversion. How about that? Gear sticks already are in the right positions. I'll tell you one thing we're missing, and that's the long pipes that go right the way down to the tail end for heating the rear seats. Now, this is the Chesterfield. Actually, I mean, honestly, someone's put some effort into this. Let's go over here, let's put it on the bench. Someone has put some effort into this. Because look, it's got this little drop down cubby, you see, so the back seat passengers can put their cigarettes somewhere. You ever seen anything like it? They all want it. The owner might be prepared to sell it, I'm sure. That's impressive. Right, so that's that. The other thing I wanted to do tomorrow was get the brakes all drained down so I can get the pedal box out. We can start getting that done. Now, I think all of this malarkey here, I don't know if you can see that, New Era NLR132, I think that's all to do with the dual charge, dual circuit. Because I've got a feeling that because the 2 batteries are in here, that wire that comes off that positive terminal would appear to go through to here. So it looks like it's got dual charge, and then at the arse end we've probably got a white socket. Now we've just got a black socket, so quite why it's got dual charge I don't know. Funny old game, eh? Oh, it's had light guards on at some point. Not there now. Yes. Can't wait to get those steps off. And they have been quite useful today for kind of leaning into the car and so forth. So yeah, I think tomorrow really is going to be isolating the engine loom, getting the rest of the loom out of the front of the car, unpicking it all, getting it all ready so it can come out. The bonnet will need to come off, the deck will need to come off in preparation for getting the wipers and everything else sorted out. It's all fairly easy stuff. It's not the end of the world. It's not a bad colour though, is it? I know it's sort of bronzy, it's not poo brown. It's a metallic. Quite like it. When you take the bonnet off, by the way, it's always worth bearing in mind that sometimes they have shims. So those shims sat on the bottom hinge. In fact, they sat above the bottom hinge by the looks of things. Bottom hinge, and they basically just pad out the bonnet. These things, on later cars, they're sprung and they're fiendishly tight. So you will not push them down. On the really late cars, the really late soft dash cars, I've seen those kind of dissolve. The spring goes flying through the bulkhead. But what we've got now, we could start seeing where we've got the positive terminal post. And that is amazingly close to the metal there. I'm surprised that hasn't arced across. We'll do some correction there. But now the bonnet's off and we get some light in there, you can start seeing an awful lot more around the inside of this car, around this inside of this engine bay. Well, I'm not going to do anything with the engine, I don't think. I don't think the customer wants me to do anything at all. But obviously the brakes are going to get completely renewed. What fun. What fun. What fun indeed. This master looks bloody shiny. It's all nice. This is the device I was talking about. I'm pretty sure that this is something to do with the dual charge. I'll just unpick it all. And that would appear to be the connector for the engine loom. So we've got two connectors. We've got this connector, which will be the all the sensors, the stop for the pump, the heater, the glow plug heater. There's all sorts of other bits and bobs and wires over here. There's the glow plug circuit there. And on this side, all we should really have is the terminal going to the starter motor and the solenoid cable. That's all we've really got here. That's all looking okay. This loom here obviously goes down to the gearbox. That connects on here. Look at that. There's the connector there. So I think what we're going to end up doing is get the scuttle panel off. I might have to take these side frame bits off because I think they're just going to get in the way when it comes to diagnosing what on earth is going on. But these three washers, they came off the bonnet. So I shall put them back with the bonnet. I can sit over here, I'll put a bit of tape on them. So, how am I going to balance them? They're just going to get lost, aren't they? You doofus! I'll put them down there. Because the bonnet's not going to move, and the bonnet's going back on again in a day or two's time once everything's back in place. Now, there's a whole load of duct tape and stuff up here. I'm not entirely sure I understand why. No, can't see any reason why. Be a bit of unpicking of old looms and stuff. Just a rubbish box. Now, these deck panels can be an absolute and utter arse to get off. The deck itself is longer than it is for the four-door cars. So you've got one bolt here, and again there'll be shims underneath, so it's important to remember where the shims go, because this deck will be going back on the car, let's say with different holes drilled in it. And the other bolt is in here. There it is, just about there. See that? Absolutely fucking impossible to get to as well. You have to get a ratchet spanner on that one. And the wipers need to come off as well, so we can get on with that. That was a fail. This is as brittle as it gets. This is obviously very, very heat damaged here. Sorry, Tom. What on earth? What on earth? I have got a pair of right-hand drive wiper arms, so they can go on. Right, let me crack on with getting this thing apart. I mean, that's how much strength you got in these springs. It'll be interesting to see what it's like underneath the deck. Right, wipers off first though. Bonnet and bulkhead are off. These giant washers here sat at either end of the deck panel, the bulkhead deck panel. Giant big fat bastards. Okay, so remember that when I go back. This is all the fixings for the bulkhead. The bonnet switch was broken. It's not doing anything at all there. There's a nice bug nest there. I don't quite know. I think it's probably dead. In here, we've got the remnants of the absolutely dissolved these filters here. This is the big foam filter that sits in behind the grille panel, look. Dust. I probably need to bring the vacuum cleaner up. These are the metal trims that hold those pieces in on the back of the bulkhead. It's quite common for the pop rivets to rot out. I'll pop rivet those back in again. But otherwise, all looks quite good up here. I might give it a bit of a dye next, but other than that, I think we're okay. The only worrying thing for me at the moment is that the heater vent is in the open position, fresh air position, and that's normally vacuum controlled. So when the heater comes out, I'm going to have to understand a bit more about what's actually caused that problem. Let's flick this bug nest off. One bug nest. And then I think once I've cleaned out up here, probably just a tiny bit of seam sealant and stuff. So there's the wiper motor over there. The right hand drive wiper motor fits on here. And you can do it with these bloody great big springs in place. But you can see the amount of tension these things are under. And you can see how much the bulkhead top moves as I am wiggling them. So yeah, they do quite a lot. But then, you know, Range Rover owners wanted the bonnets easier to lift for their mechanics.